it is finally time for the Japan Fanfest. So in this video, we're gonna go over all the information we got in the keynote. And honestly, these keynotes were absolutely amazing. There were so many interesting things to see. So first of all, we are not getting a release date for Dawntrail yet. It's gonna be released sometimes this summer, and the official reasoning is just they don't want to repeat the issue with Endwalker. Because we had a delay there and a lot of people had taken time off work, and that was just, well, obviously really upsetting. So instead they're gonna wait until much closer to release date to tell us exactly when it's coming out. We started by getting to see the new trailer, which showed us the female Hrothgar and the new job, which is the Pictomancer. So we're gonna start by talking about the job. The Pictomancer is a new caster which uses a paintbrush as a weapon and also seems to have a palette attached to it. This job brings in completely new animations for all of the painting visuals, which look really nice. The job originally comes from Final Fantasy VI, but the mechanics are gonna be quite a bit different in FF14. So in Final Fantasy VI, the Pictomancer could basically paint their enemy to kinda use their abilities. But in FF14, they will be able to paint multiple things, including monsters, weapons and landscapes. And obviously, none of them are going to be limited by the enemy they're facing. Now it seems the paintery spells are going to be the ones with a cast time, while the Pictomancer will also have some insta-cast ability to add into the rotation. When it comes to a caster, the Pictomancer is less of a DPS focused one than, for example, the Black Mage, as it has the ability to buff the party. But unlike the Summoner, they won't have the ability to res. Krile is going to be the Scion who will be taking on the new job, finally allowing her to actually fight in-game. And this time around, yoshi-p did not cosplay the job, as he felt it would not be properly represented by a 50-year-old man. Instead, they did have a wonderful cosplayer showing it off on stage. And I gotta say, this job just looks cute as hell. Now there is no required class to open up the Pictomancer. It will start at level 80 in Gridania, meaning we can start leveling the Pictomancer from the beginning of Dawntrail. Now for German player in FFxiv, the Pictomancer was called the Duplicant, but it's gonna be called the Pictomant instead this time around, as the developer feel that name simply fits it better. Now onto the story. We haven't got a lot of new information. We are going to Toral, which is the new world. There we are taking part in this competition of succession. We have been asked to actually come over there by the first female Hrothgar we get to meet in the game. This will be some sort of a contest that is gonna involve all of the Scions, but we don't know which ones are gonna be on our team. But we are gonna start getting into the story very soon, as our new Hrothgar is gonna meet us in patch 6.55, which is gonna come out on January 16th. Just make note there's gonna be a 24-hour maintenance right before it. And talking about the female Hrothgar, we do get to see her a little bit in the trailer, but we also got a full-on female Hrothgar trailer showing the in-game models. Now the Hrothgar tribes we play are the ones from Ilsport, but there will also be Hrothgars in Toral. We got to see during the trailer a lot of the new animations and running style. I think they look really good, and I'm excited to see them in-game. Now yoshi-p has it before and is still saying this will be the last race they will ever add to the game, but apparently it depends on us. Which makes me kind of think they may be thinking about adding something else. I'm always excited to see new races, but at the same time I'm not sure it's worth it, as making a new race takes up a whole lot of resources that could be used for other things. But if the race is notably different from what we have right now, it might be really interesting. Now, like in the previous FanFest, we did get to see a little bit more of Toral. We got to see the final updated version of the map, now showing both the northern and southern part of the continent. Tuliyollal, which is our new player hub, is actually sort of on a bridge connecting the north and south part of the continent. And while Tuliyollal will be the central hub, there will be major story beats happening both in the north and south of Toral. In fact, there seems to be two distinct story arcs happening during the main story they still somehow hold a unified overarching tale. I guess we will be able to pick either north or south of Tural when we start the expansion, like they have done in the previous expansions where we can pick a starting area to go to, as this works really well to kind of spread out the player base during those first few days of release. We got to see some of the visuals. It really looks beautiful. I really like how diverse it is, from the cowboy looking town to like the glowing forest. But we also got to see 2 new areas. The first area we saw is Solution 9, which looks nothing like anything else we've seen for this expansion so far. So this kind of futuristic looking techno city is gonna be our other major city during the expansion. So I'm guessing this is gonna be where we will go and trade in our tombstones. Now obviously Solution 9 is constructed by an entirely different civilization than Tuliyola, and yoshi-p absolutely refuses to tell us anything more. But I for one was very surprised when I saw it, as it just looks so different. The second place we got to see is the Heritage Found, which seems to be more of a steam-powered area. They have a train, and they have this weird tower in the background. They did tell us that this place is overflowing with lightning, and thick thunderclouds actually blot out the sun. So my tropical vacation is starting to seem very non-tropical for some reason. They also showed us a picture of a carousel. I don't know where it's from or what it's for, but I hope we get to ride it. But overall, I'm really glad to see how diverse the areas are in this expansion. Now when it comes to allied races, we got to see a picture of the Pelu Pelu and the Moblins again, which were introduced during the previous FanFests. We also got to see the Yoki, who are this race of giants, and then the Hanu Hanu, which are a colorful version of the Vanu Vanu we know from Heavensward. It was also noted there is a very diverse population of Mamolja in Toral. They have a lot of visual differences, but also differences in outlooks and culture. So it's exciting to see the different cultures we're gonna find there. We then get an overview of some of the content coming in the new expansion. We are going from level 90 to level 100. We are getting 2 new jobs, the Viper and the Pictomancer. All jobs will be getting updated and getting new actions as we go up to level 100. Like always, there will be new fates, hunt, treasure hunts and quests, synced side quests coming with the expansion. There will also be many new dungeons. We were shown a video of some of the dungeons that are well underway, but would also not include any spoilers. But so far these are looking really neat. We got to see a little bit of a sneak peek of the new enemies. I desperately need to find out how we end up fighting a macho cactuar. It's apparently called the barrel tender, and I guess this is what happens if the sabotenders start lifting too much. Now of course the duty support will be updated for the expansion, and this time Kyle will actually be joining us as part of our duty support roster. We will be seeing some new gear and new recipes, and all of the new gear coming in 7.0 will have the graphical update applied to them. Here are some examples of gear. Counting from the left is the Summoner, the Samurai, the Sage and the Gunbreaker. And here from the left is the Machinist, the Reaper, the Astrologian and the Paladin. They did announce the new extensive lifestyle content. It is called Cosmic Exploration. We will be going to various different planets, where it seems we will be building up things. I am very curious what the story is gonna be behind this, and I am honestly curious if it's connected to one of our tribes from Endwalker. The Alliance raid will be the Echoes of Anadiel, and is based on Final Fantasy XI, which is the other big Final Fantasy MMO and has been running for, I think, like closing in on 20 years. We got to see one concept art showing the Shadow Lord from FF11. The 8-man raid is the Arcadian, and this graphic card looking area is apparently the staging ground. So I'm guessing it's gonna be connected to this Solution 9 city. But apparently the Arcadian story will be fully original to Final Fantasy XIV, and there will of course be a Savage version. With the ultimate raid doing really well, they will be adding a new one in the next expansion. This time the theme is Eden, and it will be called Futures Rewritten Ultimate. We will be getting further updates to the Blue Mage, more Hildebrand questlines, new plans for the deep dungeons. I think they're wording that kind of weird, because usually they would just say new deep dungeons. It sounds like they might be planning to do something with them, the ones we already have in game. Now there will be more updates to the Gold Saucer, some PvP updates, and new variant dungeons. They are bringing a new field operation in Dawntrail, which is basically content in the vein of Bosia and Eureka, something people have been asking for to come back throughout Endwalker. We are also getting a new limited job in the later parts of the expansion. This job will be the Beastmaster, and that's pretty much all we get to know of it for now. Then we got some examples of the graphic update. I really like the more defined texture of the hair and the clothing. There are some absolutely beautiful details. Now the goal is to update the texture and smooth things out a bit, but not change the visuals of the characters too much. And while not all of the gear in the game is going to be updated on release of the graphic update, but the starting gear for the races will be updated with the release. Now changing the look of our character is always a bit of a risky thing, so to make sure everybody leaves this update happy, they plan to give us all a free Fantasia so we can go into the character creator and adjust our Warrior of Light to our liking. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about buying a Fantasia come summer, maybe wait a bit as we're gonna be getting a free one. There is also gonna be the major update to the dye systems, allowing us much more versatility in our dyeing process. They showed us some example pictures of the original piece on the left, our current dye system in the middle, and the new 2-dye system on the right. I think this is really going to help with some of the armors, because we have all encountered the issue where the metal just isn't quite matching like we would like it to match, and the only dyeable thing is the cloth under it. Finally, stuff coming before the Dawntrail release, patch 6.55 is coming on January 16th. The system requirements are going to be coming up, so look at the screen right now to see if your PC is up to the task. The Xbox Open Beta will be starting in February. They're kinda aiming for around February 21st, but things can change by several days in either direction. And finally, the Path Infernal, which is the Final Fantasy XVI crossover event, is expected to release in early April. And that is pretty much everything of note in the keynote. I am really excited for all of these updates and very excited to just get into Dawntrail and try it out. But tell me, what are you most excited about? And what do you think about our new female Hrothgar? Let's talk about it in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure to do the like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And whatever you do, I hope you have a lovely day and a great FanFest.